What's up, y'all? This Martell Holt.
It's your girl, Arionne Curry.
The Scots Ask.
What's up,
And we
y'all? This
deliver.
Martell
Let's
Holt.
get into it.
It's your girl, Arionne Curry. The Scots Ask and we deliver. Let's get into it. Martell Holt just set the internet on fire. And it's not just a small shade. Arionne Curry was the target of a whole forest fire music. The drama between Martell and Arionne has been developing for years. Ever since Arionne was exposed as Martell's longtime mistress during his marriage to Melody, as you may already know if you've been watching Love and Marriage Huntsville. I know that I just know he's the one that's going to help me get over any foolishness, or to start to satisfy my wife 100% you to do what I'm supposed to do. It's like devastating to me to even to think of my family being split. Why would he stoop so low and be so foolish? To really risk my family? Multiple times Martell used to stand up for Arionne at first. He even had a child with her. However, now he's out here berating her. He declared in public that he wished he had never interacted with her and that she had only caused chaos in his life. He even implied that she may have had her own agenda the entire time and was never truly there for him. Fans are shocked because it appears that Martell is rewriting the entire story in front of everyone, which is a significant change from how he used to protect her. That twist is that Martell isn't merely venting this, seems planned a new character, a new plot, and possibly a new foo. Thus, in a recent interview and Instagram post that seemed more like a new filter tell-all. That's right, Martell called Arionne Curry a lesson one he had to learn the hard way, not from a lover. Significant that the same man who weighs defending her while still married to Melody would say that being with her was on his worst life decisions. He was out here pretending that the world misinterpreted and mistreated Arionne, and now he's changing the entire plot. Martell went further in the interview than simply calling her a mistake. From the start, he had doubts about her motives. He suggested she was playing her own game, never truly had his back, and even suggested she might have taken advantage of him to gain notoriety, or worse, attention. That's a serious charge, particularly since Arionne has been portrayed for years as the one who was pursuing Martell, while he kept her at bay and continued to stay in touch. Fans are now conflicted. Finally, he's seeing her for who she really is, says one. Half they believe he is maturing, accepting responsibility, and perhaps even making an effort to make amends. But they don't believe the other half. Many claim that this is damage control rather than growth. Because let's face it, Martell's reputation suffered greatly following the divorce, the infidelity, the deception, and his treatment of Melody. He became the antagonist of Love and Marriage Huntsville as a result. And now that he's back in the spotlight and new episodes are coming, people believe he's attempting to change history to paint Arionne as the issue so he can appear to be the man who simply made a poor decision, rather than...
I know that, I just know he's the one that's going to help me get over any foolishness or to start to satisfy my wife 100%,
Right.
To do what I'm supposed to do.
It's like devastating to me to think about my family being split. Why would I stoop so low and be so foolish to really risk
and the one who
my
split up
family
his family,
multiple
even the way
times?
he said it made people raise their eyebrows. It was cold and straightforward, as if he wanted people to understand that this was about being duped. Rather than love, it wasn't sentimental, or as though he was thinking back on a traumatic event. Some fans also observed that he distanced himself. No pity, no tenderness, just a straight line instead of merely disparaging Arionne, not to mention that Martell and Arionne still have a child together, which is what led some to believe that this was more about strategy than healing. Therefore, it's not merely a small gesture for him to act so aggressively in public. Rather, it's a brave and possibly dangerous one. The next big question arises because Arionne went silent just when everyone was expecting her to go live, post a clap app her own, or drop a few story. Arionne Curry is currently keeping a low profile. No interviews, no cryptic messages, no social media tirades, nothing. And that silence is loud for someone who is known to voice her opinions, particularly when Martell drags her in public. The problem is that those who are familiar with the situation say that silence is a strategy rather than just a tactic. According to rumors, Arionne is waiting and keeping receipts while she waits, rather than just lounging where discussing purported text messages, voice notes, screenshots, and possibly even videos. Things that should choose to disclose them could change the course of the entire discussion. Let's face it, this wouldn't be the first time. Arionne has shown up with a lot of heat. She left no crumbs when she last spoke up. She shared her perspective, revealed personnel conversations, and made it plain that she wouldn't allow Martell to portray her as the antagonist by herself. She wants people to know that she has her own version of what happened and isn't afraid to share it. So she's not merely a supporting character in his story presently. Martell is referring to her ACE lesson and behaving as though she was merely an error that he made. People are keeping a close eye on Arionne, wondering if she will speak again and what she will say when she does. It's interesting that people want to know when she will release her dirt, not if she has. And because Arionne has been involved for a while, whether you like her or not. She was present during the back and forth, during the breakup between Martell and Melody, and she had a front row seat to Martell's mess. And proof is typically required for that kind of access. Fans are even conjecturing that Arionne might be holding out for the ideal time, perhaps nearer the start of the upcoming season, when everyone will be watching Love and Marriage Huntsville again, perhaps when his rebrand is just beginning to gain traction. She is waiting to make sure she hits him where it hurts, or perhaps she will do so when Martell says one more careless thing to mention that Martell has been putting a lot of effort into cleaning up his act. He is attempting to change the narrative to appear as the businessman, the good co-parent, and the changed man. If Arionne says something that suggests he is still playing games behind the scenes, the entire new image could quickly fall apart. It's a game of silence right now, but the tension is genuine. And we thought that was the most outrageous turn in this story. OWN intervened with a completely original legal plot twist. The OWN network was brewing their own storm, which had nothing to do with Martell, while Martell and Adrienne were subtly disparaging each other and hinting at more serious drama. Here is a brief history of Maurice Scott, who was the focus of this one of the main cast members of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Maurice was dealing with some very serious legal issues. Misconduct was being discussed, and people were wondering if this would have an impact on the show, the network, or event. Cause delays, however, the case was later thrown out, totally rejected. This dismissal was a significant victory for OWNS, well as good news for Maurice. The network was under strain, and their brand would have suffered as a result of this legal quagmire. Now that the case is closed, however, is not just able to relax. They're once again pursuing Huntsville with all of their might, and with Martell on the rise and Arionne in the background, this legal win changes everything. It gives Maurice a fresh start, while Martell is out here looking messier than ever, and it puts pressure back on the actors to maintain the drama for the cameras. Now that Maurice is safe and Martell's plot is resuming, this drama is beginning to affect the entire cast, and isn't just personal. Fans are now beginning to wonder if Arionne will ever appear on the show. We've seen clips where she's referenced, so we know she's been mentioned. But what if she chooses to actually appear on camera? That would make all the difference. Her presence would change the mood for everyone, not just Martell. The cast would be forced to deal with topics that are typically discussed off camera. Then there is the Maurice case. Perhaps his legal victory will boost his self-esteem. According to some internet users, he may be taking on more responsibility this season, speaking up more and getting more involved in the drama. Now that the charges have been dropped, he can rebuild his reputation, put more emphasis on his plot, rather than just responding to other people, whether it's with Melody, Arionne, or the group as a whole. Martell's chaos always finds a way to put him at the center. Here remains the unavoidable storm. The season is unpredictable because no one can predict who will speak up next or what shocking revelation will be made. Speaking of wild cards, who has been incredibly silent throughout this entire ordeal, she has experienced the back and forth, the public drama, and the emotional toll of Martell's social media mess too often, and knows better than to get sucked into it. She now behaves differently. She observes and listens without immediately getting involved. Fans, however, are aware of Melody's pattern. She moves intelligently rather than loudly. She waits for the ideal opportunity before revealing the truth in a way that makes everyone talk. The question then becomes, will she reply this time? To be clear, Martell's remarks about Arionne being the victim and calling him a lesson are not simply keeping them close at hand in anticipation of the most difficult time. He hurt both women, and now he wants to play the wise victim card. Someone commented, Melody doesn't need to say a word. Her silence is louder than all their Mia said. Another, Kitchena and Rick together, stranger things have happened. But that's a stretch. They might both decide that enough is enough if Martell continues to throw shots. In any case, Melody is the one that everyone is watching because her words change the entire plot. What are your thoughts? Then please share your opinions in the comments section. That concludes today. You'll see you in the upcoming video.